The case of Suzanne Morphew, who vanished on Mother's Day in 2020, took a dramatic turn 3 years later when her remains were unexpectedly found by the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. Initially, suspicion fell heavily on her husband, Barry Morphew, due to a rocky personal life and conflicting accounts of the day she disappeared. Despite extensive efforts by law enforcement, including over 1,000 hours of investigation, 135 search warrants, and interviews with hundreds of individuals, the case against Barry for the alleged murder of Susan was eventually dropped due to insufficient evidence. However, the discovery of Suzanne's remains far from the original search perimeter, coupled with DNA linking her demise to a known serial offender, has cast new doubts on the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. The question now is whether Barry Morphew had been wrongfully suspected or if unforeseen factors played a role in Suzanne's tragic fate. Suzanne Morphew's life story is one of resilience and complexity. Born to June and Adrian Alexandria on April 11, 1971, she was raised alongside her brothers, David and Andrew, and was known for her intelligence and kindness. Her high school sweetheart, Barry Morphew, whom she married after 6 years of dating, had a brief stint with the Toronto Blue Jays before pivoting to horticulture following an injury. Suzanne, a Purdue University graduate, dedicated 4 years to teaching before Barry launched a successful landscaping business. The couple, parents to Mallory and Macy, seemed to have an idyllic existence in Indiana. Suzanne's battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which she overcame twice, led the family to relocate to Mayville, Colorado, in 2018, seeking a new beginning and proximity to their daughter at Western State University. Settling on a beautiful property, Barry pursued hunting and volunteer firefighting, while Suzanne retired from teaching, focusing on her faith and hobbies like mountain biking. Despite outward appearances, the Morphew family faced undisclosed challenges that surfaced after Suzanne's disappearance. On that fateful Mother's Day, with Barry away on a purported business trip and their daughters camping, Suzanne was left alone. Plans for a family celebration that evening were dashed when Suzanne failed to respond to her daughter's messages, marking the beginning of a mystery that would captivate the nation. The absence of a response from Suzanne Morphew, known for her active social media presence, raised concerns among her daughters, Mallory and Macy. They sought help from their neighbors, the Ritters, to check on their mother. Upon finding the house empty, Mr. Ritter contacted Barry, who suggested checking for Suzanne's mountain bike and then calling the police if it was missing. This led to the police's arrival and the subsequent discovery of Suzanne's mountain bike in a ravine near the home, oddly undamaged and without any signs of an accident. Barry Morphew's reaction to the findings, including a peculiar theory involving a mountain lion, was met with skepticism. His absence from search efforts and a recorded conversation where he elaborated on this theory only added to the suspicion. Further doubts were cast when Suzanne's helmet was found in a location that coincided with the route taken by Barry's truck that morning, contradicting his claim of heading straight to a job site in Broomfield. Confronted with telematic evidence from his vehicle, Barry's explanation shifted, from claiming to have been scouting elk to recounting a pleasant day spent with Suzanne, including a hike and dinner. These conflicting accounts from Barry, who had been considered a key witness, introduced more questions than answers about the true events of that day. The investigation into Barry Morphew's actions on the night of Suzanne Morphew's disappearance revealed a web of deception. Discrepancies in Barry's story emerged when law enforcement examined his phone and vehicle data. On the evening of May 9, 2020, Barry's phone activity suggested unusual behavior on their property, and his explanation of tranquilizing chipmunks was met with skepticism. Further doubt was cast by the discovery of only one used plate from the supposed steak dinner he shared with Susan. That night, vehicle data showed Barry's car moving in a manner inconsistent with his account of going to bed, leading investigators to suspect possible foul play. The next day, Barry's supposed work trip to Broomfield was called into question, as co-workers confirmed no scheduled project. Surveillance footage later contradicted Barry's claims of his whereabouts, showing him discarding trash bags and changing clothes multiple times. The investigation took a turn when personal texts and notes revealed a troubled marriage, with Suzanne expressing fear and unhappiness. The uncovering of these intimate details painted a picture of domestic strife and possible motives, contrasting sharply with the facade of a contented family life. In the intricate case of Suzanne Morphew's disappearance, a spy pen was just one of several key items found in the family home. Other discoveries included a tranquilizer dart cap in the dryer, a fired bullet shell in the bedroom, and a significant crack in a doorframe. These findings came to light alongside a police excavation at a Salida construction site linked to Barry Morphew. Barry, who maintained his innocence in a public video, wasn't arrested until nearly a year into the investigation. Despite the mainly circumstantial evidence, the prosecution charged him with his wife's disappearance and suspected murder. The prosecution's narrative, unfolded over 4 days, suggested Barry ended his wife's life on May 9, 2020, dismembered her in a hotel room, and concealed her remains in a remote grave. However, the defense highlighted gaps in this story, noting the absence of cadaver dog alerts in Barry's truck or home, and presenting DNA evidence from Suzanne's vehicle and helmet that matched profiles from unrelated crimes, casting doubt on Barry's involvement. The case took a turn when Suzanne's remains were located in Moffett, Colorado, challenging the notion of Barry's involvement, as his truck had not been in the area. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation acknowledged the new findings and extended sympathies to Suzanne's family, while Barry's lawyer suggested a serial killer might be responsible. Amidst these developments, Barry initiated a $15 million lawsuit against the authorities, asserting his wrongful accusation in the case.